Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Seahawk Talk here on the Salve Athletics Network. I am Andrew Pizzelli, your host, coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. Thank you for joining us here today. We have a great show for you lined up. We will have Laura Krick, Adam Riesberg, Jeff St. Ange, Jenn Rosa, Katie Doherty, Bria Healy, Megan Jenkins, and Devin Smith. A packed show here today on Seahawk Talk. Can't wait to get to them and our producers as well. But first, as always, we want to remind you to keep your distance. That is Ed Habershaw with his rendition of Keep Your Distance from the Shake, Rhode Island-based band. Keeping your distance, hand washing, mask wearing, all of that wonderful things that Sal Virginia is doing so well. And we're going to continue to encourage all of that here on the program. Want to bring in our producers now, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco. Fellas, how are we doing here today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
What do we have here to lead off today's program? Mike, I think you had a pretty interesting piece that we wanted to share.
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot about, how our business is going to stay open through this winter, how our local business is going to stay open after taking that hit during COVID. And this should definitely help. Some free blankets, hand warmers are set out to help RI restaurants. The RI Hospitality Association kind of started this campaign. And as you can see, they're really helping out some of the local businesses because they're really going to need it now. It's part of a initiative called Take It Outside. So overall, I think it's going to be a positive thing. We already talked about how we're going to have a warmer winter too, which will help. Now they're also getting this help from the government and from Governor Raimondo. So it's although we might not be able to do all the things we want to do, go inside and all that. There a lot of our favorite restaurants will now, it seems, at least still be able to stay open pretty deep into the winter.
We're going to have to get luxury and, sophisticated, stylish-looking Snuggies to wear out to dinner, basically. That's
Yeah.
Oh, I hope the Snuggie comes back. That'd be awesome.
It looks like they
Yeah,
they giving you some blankets. We got to get everything. It's whatever you got. Blankets, Snuggies, old clothes donated to restaurants. They can use all that stuff.
What are those jug-looking things? I'm trying to think of what those jugs are. Maybe like disinfectant, like alcohol.
Maybe I'm gonna go with your guess right there. Maybe what's that stuff they used to help melt the ice when you put it outside?
Maybe.
Maybe that. We're just speculating, but
I just saw it and I don't see it listed. It must be under whatever PPE is, so it must be an alcohol.
Kerosene for torches.
Yeah. But man, that's cool.
Tiki torches in January. That'll be that's the new look. Cool. Joey, do you have anything here to lead off today's program?
I do, and I looked up the Rhode Island Hospitality Association because I didn't know what that was, and it looks like they're like a private organization. They're not like a government thing, so they're just doing this to be nice and like donating all this, which is super cool. But so today, when I looked on Twitter, there was some pretty awesome news under COVID-19 tab, and it's this Indian American 8th grader in what was it called? The 3M Young Scientist Challenge. It's some middle school science fair type thing. She did some like crazy, like it's too smart for me, but something on a computer she did like 1 million tests and found like a way to make a molecule that can connect to the part of the coronavirus that like attaches to your cells. It's called like a spike protein. It's like the part that like, it's a spike, it goes into your cell or whatever. And she found a thing that can like interfere with that they can use for treatment. And like, that's crazy. Like she's in 8th grade. She's like, what, 14? And like, that's way smarter than anything I've ever I'm never gonna do. Like that's amazing. Like she won $25,000, which I assume is for scholarships, and she's Indian American, and a lot of like the vice president of India and a bunch of Indian news organizations are like highlighting her, which is really cool. Like they're just like, oh, look at her, and everyone's just like, wow, look at how smart this girl is, and it's just kind of crazy. But it's also really good news. Like this is something.
Well, it'd be great news no matter what, and the fact
That's
that
what
it's eighth grader who's discovering this is just even
That's
more
what I'm saying.
incredible. I'll say the biggest problems I was trying to solve when I was in the 8th grade was like how to stop Michael Vick in Madden. Like I would not have been qualified nor prepared to figure out something like this, which is just incredible.
It's like you've been given the headline, new coronavirus therapy, and then it's like discovered by an 8th grader. It's like, what am I doing with my life?
Well, you know what? This makes me think, and this will be something I can tease and we can share at the end of the show. I read a Players Tribune article by Marcus Smart that came out yesterday, which was very, very powerful and moving, talking about playing in the bubble and all the different issues going on in the country right now. But it started off kind of negative, but or on a sad note, but ends on a very positive and uplifting note. And he talks about what gives him so much hope for the future is kids. Seeing small children, teenagers, even people our age, like speaking up, speaking out, doing things, being active. It just made me think of this. Here we go, an 8th grader helping us solve a worldwide pandemic or contributing towards the solutions. Just kind of more of that is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, every couple years or so, someone like below 15 will come along and just remind us of how average we all really are. It's like makes us, just shows everybody up. It's like, I'm 12 years old, like the Greta Thunberg. This like, there's always someone that's gonna come along and make us feel
who can do like really abstract math in his head. Like he's like 12. Yeah, it's like
he's just out here writing the number,
putting us all in our place.
Yeah.
I wanted to share. We've spoken a lot about the election here on the program about getting out and voting. You can go vote early at usually your town hall or a community center, or contact your local board of canvasser about that sort of stuff. But the voting by mail thing is going to be big. It was big in the primary. We know it's going to be even big in the general election. And I just wanted to share this. This was a tweet from just about a half hour ago from the Rhode Island Board of Elections. That so far is all of the early ballots that they have received as of today. And obviously there's still 2 weeks to go. A little over 2 weeks to go before, people vote in person, the actual election day. So there's going to be even more of these. It just kind of gives you perspective. It's good to see people out there voting. It also reminds us that they can't start counting these in Rhode Island until the election is over on Tuesday, on November 3rd. So until election night concludes, they can't start counting these. So to not expect election results on November 3rd. So keep it going, everybody. Voting, whether you're doing it early or mailing in. If you have a mail-in ballot, you can drop them off at wherever they're doing the early voting as well, or write to a board of elections. You can drop them off in person if you don't feel like dropping it in the mail. You can track your ballot, but just wanted to kind of give an update on that from the Board of Elections. It's incredible how many have already submitted their ballots. How many people have already voted already, and that it's gonna take some time to count once election day is over.
Yeah, that's going to be a really difficult challenge when you're just right now. I'm looking at all those and I'm just like thinking, how many people do you think have to sit and count through every single one of like, how many people do you think actually work there or have to count through every individual ballot?
Most of them, they like have to take them out of the envelope and then they stack them all. You don't want a paper jam, basically, is what you have happen. There's a guy who'll stack these up in a big stack and feed them into the machine, which scans and registers the vote on there. Hopefully, like you said, you got to do that right. You don't want any bent edges, nothing like that, so that they get read properly. It is a process for sure. Well, fellas, we're gonna get moving along. Joey, I'm gonna let you get back behind the scenes. Michael, we're gonna keep right here because our first guests are familiar faces of yours. You already know a little bit about them, so I'm going to let you go ahead and give them their introduction. And Mike, you can take this first segment away. Have
Oh,
at it.
wow. Look at that. All right. So, yeah, coming up on today's Seahawk Talk, we got Adam Riesberg and Laura Krick, and they're going to be talking to us about their company, Red Beetle. How you guys doing?
Hey, Bonesy, how's it going?
Good to see you. Good to see you. So Adam, I haven't seen you since our last interview. How's everything been going? Going all right?
Yeah, everything's been going really good. We've been super busy helping students find off-campus living. A lot of people have been contacting us, wanting us to help them out in their search process, and we're happy to do so. So we've just been super busy.
Yeah. So why don't you just start by telling us, just a little bit about your company, just tell us a little bit about Red Beetle, how it got started and your responsibilities.
Yeah, sure. So, well, we've done off-campus living for the past 2 years now, the past 2 off-campus living seasons. And we thought that the process was overall very difficult for both the students and the agents and landlords. It was just a really jumbled up process. So we wanted to create a system that streamlined the whole process to make it extremely easy and efficient to save people time and money, whether you're an agent, student, or a landlord.
So tell us a little bit about how, what makes Rent Beetle simpler? What do you guys do differently from, like the other, like the Zillows and, what do you do differently as opposed to just going through like an agent?
Yeah, sure. So a company like Zillow is an informational-based website, and it's awesome. It's a great service, and it's a great platform. I personally use Zillow to search homes in areas that I'm looking for. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't offer the ability to actually buy/rent places to live. It's a good informational site, and it's great for agents to advertise their own brand name and their own listings on it. But what Rent Beetle is going to do differently is we're going to be able to actually rent your homes on the technological platform that we've created. And we're taking the existing rental model, like the general how you get from looking for a house to actually living in it. We're taking that model and we're just moving it onto a technological space. And I feel like people are gonna enjoy our product.
Yeah, we already talked, just a little bit about it, but tell us, like, it normally would take people like 2-3 weeks to rent a house, is it how long would it take you if you found a house to then go apply for a lease and then put the deposit down through your site?
So right now it does, as you mentioned, it'll take a couple weeks. It could take 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes even 2 months. I've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. But when you use our site, it's going to take you, after you've already seen it, it'll take you about 5 to 10 minutes. We've actually done some prototype testing today and over the weekend, and it brings it down to about a 5 to 10 minute ordeal, which is awesome. We were aiming to make it like an hour, but it's even better than we expected.
And now another like interesting fact is everyone on your team is a Salve alum. But you got Jeff St. Onge, and then I think I saw Anthony Ciesco also joining the Rent Beetle team. I saw that on LinkedIn. Yeah. So just tell us, how did Salve kind of prepare both of you for your experience now in business and that connection to Jeff?
Of course. Well, maybe focusing on how Salve has helped us develop and how. Because like coming in freshman year, I would say that I've grown as an individual. Laura has too, 400, 500%. And that's really due to the staff and the teachers at Salve. And, it takes a village to raise kids. And I'm just happy that I got to go through the process at Salve and the connections I've gotten out of it. And, the confidence that I've gained that I can actually participate in the business world. It's definitely something Salve has given me. With that being said, people like Jeff, they come and they cross paths with us, and we're able to work with them and create something really cool.
And Laura, so like and Adam, both athletes, both former athletes. So how do you think that just a prior experience, just like having to wake up every day and do the same things, that routine, do you think that helped both of you just become better in the business world, that you already have that kind of discipline instilled in you?
Yeah, I think definitely playing a sport and not only helped me specifically routine-wise and giving me that confidence and motivation, but it also helped me reach a broader audience. Like I was able to meet more alumni that played tennis, for example, and Adam, I'm sure he was able to meet more people through baseball. So it definitely has only helped us.
So what's some advice right now that you would give to kids like looking for a house? Because it's prime season for rentals right now. If there's any kids like students watching, what are you going to tell them to look out for now while applying for a house?
I think the biggest thing is people think that they need to find their homes instantly. That they think they need it right now. But there are always homes out there to rent out. There's no rush. There's no need to freak out about it. It's not a huge deal, you know. As of now, most of the homes are rented out, so the options are slim. However, more places just keep popping up. Like we've never not found someone a house. So I would say just take it one step at a time. It's not a huge deal, and have fun with it. You know, this is your first home. So
ask a lot of questions.
Ask a lot of questions. Yeah.
No.
Go ahead. With the lease, ask about the pricing. Make sure you have all the information. And yeah, do your due diligence.
Yeah, and you guys are already so young, you know, starting a company. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about, you know, some of the difficulties that first come when you're starting a business and just developing your product and like having people take you seriously as two young students still in college?
You know, that's something that we're figuring out.
Yeah.
Because it is difficult when you're dealing with people that have been in the industry for 10, 20, even 30 years sometimes. And what we're doing is we're bringing a little bit of change to it. We're bringing a younger spin, and we're putting an old market onto a new platform. So it's difficult sometimes to relay points and to have the respect given to you. But, you know, just how I learned in baseball, respect is earned. You know, and the more good we do and the more good we do for our community, we think that it's going to relay back to us.
And then, so you guys have right now, currently it's the beta site on that's up right now, correct? Want to tell us a bit about that full site, like when's that going to launch and what's that going to be able to do?
Yeah, we are aiming for a full viable product. We're aiming for sometime in January, February, and then we can start testing the system and processes. We have processes that you can book on the site. You can book your showing. You can submit applications, and you can pay a deposit all online, which is pretty cool. But the lease signing still has to be built. And there's a couple more aspects to it that we need on the site before we declare it a full launch.
So, you know, we've talked a lot. We're going to get to some of our next guests, but I just want to ask you, what's the future looking like for Rent Beetle? You know, what are you guys working on, you know, now in your, both in your senior years? What are you now working towards in this final, for the future of Rent Beetle?
I think that our goal is to just be able to grow here at Salve, and then after we've tested it and we have a full final product, we want to kind of just expand to colleges all over New England and hopefully all over the U.S. and hopefully help everyone find off-campus housing.
Awesome. Well, guys, I loved having you on. You know, we're going to get to our next guest right now, but I hope to see you guys soon. And I wish you the best of luck with your company in the future.
Awesome. Really appreciate it, Mike. Thanks.
Of course. Thank you, guys. All right, now we're going to go back to our next guest, Jenn Rosa, and back to our normal host, Andrew Pizzelli.
Muted. The mute button got me. I got the mute bug got me. I did it to myself. Well, I was thanking Mike for doing a great job with Adam and Laura, and saying how happy and excited I am to speak with you, Jenn. It's been forever. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Quickly tell me, like, how was your summer, and then getting back to Salve must have felt good. And then how has the adjustment period gone with getting back and being able to be on campus?
Yeah, so I've been here the entire time. Res Life has been super busy. So worked straight through the summer, and was really excited to have students back on campus because it has not been the same since March when everyone left. So really excited to see some life on campus and to get students back into the residence halls. Very exciting, very welcoming towards them because of it. Yeah.
As I say, it's about having the people there, right? You know, a school without students is what is it? The people are what make it. A lot of great people that you've gotten to know is through your time being an assistant coach with the softball team. Tell me what it's meant to you to be a coach with that team.
Sure. So even before, I've been at Salve now for 8 years, even before I started getting involved with the softball team 5 years ago, always saw them around the halls, always saw them getting involved around campus, being student leaders in the residence halls. I'd see them doing laundry at 8 o'clock in the morning on a weekend to get it in. So have had a lot of respect for athletes, being one myself, and just so grateful and appreciative to be part of the program with Salve Athletics and Salve Softball with Coach Iaquinto.
Now, all the teams have been trying to find different things to do, ways to stay involved, build teamwork, camaraderie, all these things amidst COVID. The softball team has still found a way to get some community service time in as well. Just recently, tell me a little bit about what it was that they were able to do.
Sure, yeah. So community service reached out to me about doing some work at the Norman Bird Sanctuary in Middletown by Third Beach. It's somewhere that I really enjoyed going to during my quarantine as soon as they opened in the spring. Great outside hiking spots, great views. The project that myself and the softball ladies worked on was we were actually taking apart a wall so that professional bricklayers could come in and rebuild that wall and rebuild that structure that had started to kind of fall apart. So it's important for the layout of their property. And it's been there for, I think, like 300 years. So was helpful for Coach to kind of throw that to me and let me take the girls on a Sunday afternoon to Norman Bird Sanctuary, let them see one of the places that I love, and have them do some work and help out the Norman Bird Sanctuary for good cause.
They gave you guys the easy job, easier to just say, hey, rip up these rocks, and then we'll let the pros come in who are going to rebuild it, right?
Yeah.
You're glad to have the easy job?
Not so easy. Some of those rocks, like, thank goodness our girls lift and they're strong, because there were a few heavier boulders that we had to move to the side.
I'm sure, that's a good thing. We could let our strength and conditioning guys know, like, listen, hey, this wasn't a day off. These guys, bend with the knees, lift, and move to the side. As you said, you've been here this whole time. You live on campus.
Yeah.
So what was that process like? I'm sure a lot of the logistics coming into this year for everybody, athletics aside, just the school, is about figuring out the living situations and all of that. What was it like to be a part of that process? And how would you say so far? I'd say it's been a success so far.
Yeah, so we are so grateful for our amazing students and how they've come into this semester and all that we've put on them. We recognize these are like 18 to 22-year-old students that, we've put a lot of regulations in place, and for the most part, they're doing an amazing job. It has been challenging, to say the least. So in March, when students went remote, we started to do our room selection processes. So we had to do all of that for our juniors and seniors that wanted to reside on campus, as well as our sophomores. And then we had the challenge of placing incoming first years. Throughout COVID, during the summer, we had to de-densify all of our residence halls. So there are about 30 spaces that are over a double, because they are large enough to hold either 3 or 4 students. For the most part, everything went down to a double. So then we had to work with moving students. We looked at the Marriott and had that as our option. So we have students living there now. So it's been interesting, but I'm glad with the work from, the Res Life professional staff team and all the support at the university that we've been successful in getting students back on campus.
Now, you said you live on campus as well, correct?
Yeah, so I live in the Greystone Apartments.
You were able to speak to the Marriott. You didn't try and, get to move your office to the presidential suite at the Marriott? Was that not in the cards?
It was not. No, I mean, first and foremost, we wanted to get our juniors and seniors that we were moving off campus there. I know I haven't seen the pool. I mean, I've seen it, but I've not enjoyed it. We have gone to lunch there a couple of times. It's a beautiful space, and I really hope that, our students are enjoying that to the fullest, because it's definitely a different experience than most students would get during their time at any university.
You just got to work it in as quality control. I'm just ensuring that the students are getting the best possible experience. I need to go check out the pool. I go check out the lounge, everything. You mentioned how Salve's doing so well. I spoke to Jody Meradian just yesterday about how, we've only had 4 cases so far, and everybody's doing so well. From your perspective as well, what has allowed us to be so successful, and then what does the message need to be to keep that going?
Sure. So I'm going to start with what the message needs to be. And I know we've done so well so far, and it's just remaining vigilant and doing the things that we need to do. Hand washing, wearing masks. The biggest thing in the residence halls for us is COVID capacity in each of the rooms, and going by that and making sure you're not overextending what that capacity should be. For off campus, limiting outside gatherings to 15 or less. Making sure everyone's wearing masks. And then the other thing that I want to continue to encourage students to do is the daily COVID screening, and how important that is, whether they're on campus or off, just to fill it out. There's options for both, because we do check that and we do monitor that to make sure that our students, to kind of get a sense of how our students are doing.
Now, with everybody being mostly remaining on campus, trying to stay close to home, the university is still doing a lot, probably doing more than ever to try and create things to do on campus. Since we're telling people to stay, you got to have things to do. What are some of the really great things that have happened and that are coming up from an activity standpoint?
Sure. So I won't speak too much for student engagement because I know they're doing a lot of work. Here in Residence Life, our RAs are putting on programs both virtually and in person, which has been great. We had Fire Prevention Week, so we had a candle return and exchange. We had a bonfire and s'mores that went along with that. The one event that I'm super excited for, I'll be working with all of the RAs as well as student engagement and stage fright, is our Halloween haunted house. So we've done that in one of our residence halls. Due to COVID, we're not able to. So joined up with student engagement, and that'll be in Garrity Hall on Halloween night on Saturday the 31st from 7 to 10 p.m. And they'll have a ton of other events in there as well. So it'll be a great opportunity for students to see it a little differently than they normally do.
Yeah. Last question, Jen. You mentioned to me in our little pre-show talk that people would be surprised to know that you like to surf. Did you get to surf much this summer? Obviously, with so much planning that had to go into the year, maybe not. But did you get to surf at all? Have you been recently? And where? If you don't want to give away any secrets, you don't have to. But where are your favorite spots?
Sure. So I haven't been able to surf too much recently just because of work, and I'm still coming off a back surgery that happened in March. But have all my gear ready to go. There have been a few days where I had off and I was so excited, and then the waves just didn't come through. So it wasn't a possibility, but I'm hoping that changes, since usually I'll surf till December or January given the weather. Mainly first or second. I'm not good enough to be at Ruggles, but that's a goal of mine someday. So
I was gonna say, I doubt the doctor would have recommended that you go surfing after back surgery. That probably was right at the top of the list. Activities not to do, right?
Yeah. So I have been cleared for the past few months now, so it's definitely on the top of my list to get back out there.
All right, awesome, Jen. Great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on here today. You guys are all doing. We talked before about why everybody needs to do all the right things. It's because there's been so many people who have worked so hard to get us to this point. I know you're one of those people. Thank you for everything you're doing, and thank you for coming on here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Jenn Rosa, an assistant coach with our softball team and working in residence life here on the campus of Salve Regina. We're going to go next to 2 members of our women's lacrosse team, Katie Doherty and Bria Healy. Ladies, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wanted to start first with, what has it been like from a practice standpoint? It must be so different for everybody. We spoke to Coach a little bit. He's always so excited. But I want to get your guys' perspective. How has practice been going, and how is it adjusting to the COVID regulations?
It's definitely been pretty weird. We're split up into 3 groups, so there's only like 7 people in each group. So we don't really spend a lot of time with our other teammates, just the ones in your pod. But, we're staying positive, just definitely trying to get through it, get to the different phases so we can all be together again. practicing all together, but we're definitely just trying to stay positive, even though it's been pretty weird.
Yeah, and like Katie said, I mean, even though we're in the pods, even during practice, like we're all in the same field still. So we're still yelling to each other. We're keeping the hype up. So it's been really good. And again, you said coach is so positive about everything. So it doesn't even feel that odd to be there. It's like feels like the same team, just a little distant, but we're doing well. We're being positive.
Yeah. Katie, senior year, does it even feel real? I mean, like the spring, your junior year is so weird because it was cut short, and now it's senior. Does that even feel real to you?
No, it's definitely been a little weird. Just trying to make the most of it. But it definitely flew by. It's weird to be a senior.
What does it mean to be named captain once again, and what can you say about your fellow captains?
Yeah, I'm so happy to be captain again. I really enjoyed my role last year, even though it was cut short with on-field practices and games. But, I was also a captain off the field, so I really enjoyed doing that, and I'm really happy to be a captain again. My other captain, Steph Salisbury, was a captain with me last year. So she's, not new to that role. But then we also have Meg Ryder with us, another senior who's a captain. She's just been great. She's jumped into this role so perfectly. And it's been kind of tough with the COVID regulations and everything, figuring out that stuff. And being a leader in that time has been a little bit challenging, but Meg's done a great job.
Yeah. Bria, you're a sophomore, so it's kind of the same question, but different. Does it even feel like you're a sophomore, or does it just feel like this is just one long, weird freshman year?
This is one long, weird freshman year, especially coming in. We played all fall. We were working out during the winter. We started our spring season. It was going great and then got cut short. So I feel like I'm just starting back up my part 2 freshman year. But I mean, we do have 2 freshmen on the team that are helping me feel a little more like a sophomore. But again, I still have the great role models that I still had last year. So nothing's changed that much. I do still feel like a freshman though, but I'm happy to be a little higher up in the chain.
You mentioned getting to meet some new teammates. How has that been, getting to actually meet and get on the field with the new teammates, and how has that gone?
It's been awesome. Oh, sorry, Bria, you go.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, I was just going to say that actually the 2 freshmen are in the pod with Katie. So Katie's leading them and guiding them in that. So we've gotten to talk to them a little bit, but it's going to be fun when everything backs up and we can get even closer to them.
Yeah, and to add to that, they've just been so awesome with staying positive. I can't imagine being in their shoes your freshman year and you have to wear the masks. You can't even really talk to your teammates. But they've been so positive and they've been so great. So I'm definitely really proud of them.
Mm-hmm. How has it been trying to build team chemistry and that things amidst a pandemic? What have you guys been doing to try and form that chemistry and camaraderie?
Our team has always just had such a great culture. Even since I was a freshman, it hasn't changed in the last 4 years. And we've always been really close, on and off the field. So it's definitely been different this year because you're not playing with all of your same teammates that you're used to playing with in drills, when we're all together doing one big drill. But, we've been really great with communicating on and off the field. So that team chemistry, it's kind of like the way our team culture is. It's just we've always been so close. So we've never really had an issue with that. But like I said, everybody's just staying positive, and that's definitely aided in building that team chemistry.
Yeah, I think our team chemistry is the main factor that is keeping our team on top and in the loop. Because like I said before, we show up and it doesn't even feel like we're in the middle of a pandemic because our team, we're so close, we're talking during practice, we're joking around, we're yelling across the field. So even though we are spread out, our team, we have such a good bond that we're still acting like just one big team when we're on the field, distant or not, we're still one big family.
Mm-hmm. I think I already know the answer to this question. But how does the team stay so positive? Does it start from the top?
Honestly, we're a bunch of goofballs. And it starts with our coach too. Coach Villareal has been so great with keeping things light, making jokes. And it runs right down the whole team, from the seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen. Everybody's in on it. Everybody's laughing, trying to make the most of it.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it more special too, that we have like people coming in from all different grades. Like we don't have like one grade or like the seniors that's making all the noise. Like everyone's making all the noise, kind of metaphor.
What does it mean and how does it help you guys when you have a coach, and this is me speaking kind of personally for Bill, who can be that goofball, can keep things light and fun and energy and positive, but at the same time is demanding of being precise and paying attention to details and not making excuses. Is that kind of like the perfect mentality to have to try and get through a pandemic right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just been so great about it, just like you said, keeping things light and maintaining such a great energy that we've all, adopted from him. It's been so great to just, still have fun with it, but we're still getting to work and practice every day, still trying to prepare for hopefully a spring season. It works really well.
Yeah, he's also one of the most transparent coaches I've ever been coached by, which is great because he sits us down and he like gives us the hard stuff that we need to know, like about the pandemic, for example. It says, but at practice today, we can't do this. So what are we going to do? We're going to go out and we're going to do this drill. So we don't even have to worry about this. So he's transparent. He keeps us informed, keeps things realistic, but also keeps it light. And like, he makes sure we're doing exactly what we need to do to be moving forward for our season.
Working on passing, right? I mean, hopefully nobody's dropping a ball, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bria. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, just we're working on it. We're getting better. We are dropping balls, but it's just the beginning.
I was going to say, he's had the whiteboard in the background of a couple of times I've spoken to him. Are their names up yet? Has he already listed out on the whiteboard?
Oh yeah, the board it's already been sent out twice, actually. He just changed it this past week, but so yeah, he's really great about that too. Like Bria said, being transparent. He always lets us know where we stand on the field and amongst our other teammates. And even though we're in different pods, he's treating us all the same and judging us all the same. So it's been really great.
Yeah. You guys have spoken very highly of Bill. I know you've gotten some brownie points out of today's appearance. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck with the rest of the fall and hopefully having games this spring. Can't wait to see you guys out on the field.
Thank you so much.
So much.
All right, that's Katie Doherty and Bria Healy, two members of our women's lacrosse team. We're going to take a very short break and be back with some alumni from our women's track and field team. Don't go anywhere.
So you want to be a Seahawk? Let's make sure you wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, and love your Seahawks.
Sammy, no mask?
Come on, Sammy. I know it's pumpkin spice season, but you can't bring drinks to class.
We have simple rules here, Sammy. Get out. Come back when you can follow them.
You gotta take care of yourself and others, even if you are Sammy the Seahawk.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I am your host, Andrew Pizzelli. Want to welcome in now two former members of our women's track and field team, Megan Jenkins and Devin Smith. Ladies, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to start off, Coach wanted to have you guys on and talk about kind of the current situation, the COVID-19 thing, and how being a part of the track team in college prepared you for these really unprecedented times, and how that's helped in your professional careers and nursing career and just kind of in general.
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing we took away mostly from being on the track team was like teamwork. Obviously, like, before a meet, we'd always get together and talk about how we can be the best we can be on the track and work together and,
kind of rely on each other too. And that's how we are in our nursing careers now. It's like a big kind of community environment.
It's a big family. We all work together. Whenever anyone's drowning, we help out, and that's been huge with COVID because it's been so crazy.
Yeah.
Like
on the floors,
we're short staffed, and we have to rely on each other to, get through the shift. And
absolutely. So it's been a huge help having that like experience on Salve Athletics, kind of bringing that into our careers today.
Mm-hmm.
Now you mentioned there drowning. I know what you mean. Maybe explain for those who might be saying what that means when you say we're drowning.
I mean it just means because we have a specific amount of tasks we have to get done throughout the shift. Whether it's like giving meds or education wise or so many different tasks we have to get done. So when things get it just gets so crazy and you can't get everything done in a shift and you're behind.
You got to pitch in.
You need to
help each other out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What has changed the most and how have things hopefully maybe gotten better between where we were and what we were dealing with, say, in March and where we are now, from your perspective?
I wouldn't say it's better.
Okay.
I think it's definitely getting worse with flu season coming too. It's not great right now, and I think a lot of people are trying to do their best and wearing their masks and, you see most people doing that, but there's still so much more to be done. People need to be so much more safe and it's just not happening, and it's going to get so much more worse if people don't start to be more safe. So,
It's hard to have known that you guys were going to be thrown into this so soon after graduation, but how much of the Salve nursing program, we've talked about how kind of renowned it is. How much of looking back that education did prepare you in any sense that you can think of?
I would say, I don't know, our clinicals were really helpful. Like having that hands-on experience is like invaluable. I think for me, at least, it was the most helpful going in and, being in the hospital environment. That's how I learned the most, like through Salve. So those opportunities,
experience definitely
those opportunities were the best, I think, in like learning. But because we work in similar environments now, so having that exposure before graduation was super helpful.
I think like a big component too was like time management, because like we did track, and then we had our schoolwork to get done, so like we had to be good at time managing. So that helps us a lot in our careers now too. Yeah, that was a big takeaway. So.
What message would you have right now to any seniors who are in the nursing program?
I know it's probably the hardest year, but you just got to get through it. You got to study hard. It's going to be so worth it in the end. It's like we both love our jobs, so we couldn't picture doing anything else.
It's so tough in school, and once you graduate and you start working, it's completely different. It's and you learn so much on the job too. It's crazy how much you learn in the first couple of months working.
Scary, but you learn so much. And it's such a rewarding career.
Right. So. And you have, like we said, it's a community type of job. So the people around you are so helpful, and always ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Because in anything you do, when you're new, you just don't know. So having people around you that are willing to help is like amazing.
You talked about time management. Amidst everything, hopefully you guys have found some time to do things for yourselves. Everybody needs that some personal time to enjoy, have fun. What are you guys doing with free time? I think, Meg, you maybe mentioned something about getting into kickboxing.
Yes, I did. I love it. I had never done anything like that before, but obviously coming out of graduation, we weren't practicing every day or anything, so I needed to find something to do. And kickboxing is such a fun workout. Specifically, what I do is it's like a 10-minute like HIIT workout, which is awesome in the beginning, and then we just do different rounds of different types of kickboxing, and it's such like a good, like I'm always sweating when I come out of it, and I feel so good after it. So I've really been doing a lot of that, especially now with times being so stressful. It's a really good thing to do, just an hour out of my day to de-stress and all that. So
take time for yourself, especially when you have like a stressful job. It's like so important. Don't cross Meg in a back alley.
Is there things shut. Everybody, I've spoken to a lot of our athletes, like, oh, the basketball courts were closed, or couldn't go to the tennis courts. Did you have to hang a punching bag, or a makeshift punching bag?
I bought one. I bought one for $50, and I was doing my kickboxing down in my basement. I had to do something, otherwise I'd be in my bed all day being lazy. So you can't do that.
Devin, have you been roped into the kickboxing thing at all?
Oh no, definitely not.
I tried to get her to join, but she wasn't having it. So
I don't know, maybe one day. I go on runs and stuff, and I do yoga, but that's pretty much it. Nothing
That's
crazy.
good, though.
Yeah.
What do you guys miss most about Salve?
Oh,
I miss living with her.
Oh.
We lived together. We were roommates. So I think like living with like your friends was like such a big part of it. The campus obviously
I
was
miss
gorgeous.
the team. I miss being on a team.
And the team part, yeah.
Because you just don't have that in the real world, like.
Yeah, going somewhere every single day and seeing the same people that you like really enjoy being around. That was an awesome part. Like especially after a long, stressful day, to be able to go to practice and of course having Matt as our coach, like he was
Matt
awesome.
Was the best.
So we miss him.
We
so
miss
much.
him a lot.
Yeah.
How much communication do you guys still have with him?
A little bit.
Well, Matt needs to get a cell phone.
He
and
has
have
one.
so much more.
Yeah. He
true.
did text us.
Whoa! Wait, what? He has a cell phone now?
A cell phone. We got a text from him a couple months ago.
I know.
Can we stop the presses? This is breaking news. Matt Hurd has a cell phone. I know I think he can text off his iPad, but if he has an actual cell phone,
maybe that's what he was doing.
I think that's probably what he was doing. Yeah.
Okay. We need to
confused as well.
We need to convene like an official
that says Matt. It's like whoa.
Yeah, we need an official investigation now to find out if Matt actually, even if it's just a giant burner Go phone. Update: Matt Hurd has a cell phone. We need to get to the bottom of that. I was going to say, you bring up a great point, and it's something I thought about. And it was like towards the end of my senior year of college, I was realizing like, wow, this is great. Everybody who I want to hang out with is like 5 minutes away. I can just go knock on their door or text them, hey, want to meet here randomly? And my life is get up, go sit in classes about things I'm interested in, and then hang out with friends.
Yeah.
I don't want to graduate. This is actually kind of cool. Who wants to get into the real world,
Senior year
right?
was like the best too. That was just amazing.
Yeah.
I loved that part. It was the best 4 years ever.
Absolutely.
Just being able to be with friends all the
know,
time.
It's just making me miss it.
I know.
It's okay. I said we had a couple, older alumni on the show last week, graduates from 2013, talking about school, and they said the same thing about missing it and all these things. And we were speaking after the show about there's some people who you say, it's you don't want to live in the past. You're living in the past so much, but there's a difference between living in the past and loving your past. And from everybody who's come through Salve, they love their past. They love the time they had here, and it's okay to look back and say, I miss that, and talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have so many memories to take with us, and I always look on Facebook of the Facebook memories that pop up, and it's awesome.
It
so
is. It really
you
is.
have friends that you have for life. So
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Ladies, I want to thank you so much for coming on here today, and thank you for the work you're doing on the front lines. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, and wish you guys luck and that we can all get through this.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's Devin Smith and Megan Jenkins, two former members of our women's track and field team. We're going to take a short break and then be back with the producers to wrap up today's show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I am your host, Andrew Pizzelli. Want to bring in now the producers to wrap up today's show, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco. Welcome back, fellas. Usually right off the top, I like to get your impressions from our guests here today and what you thought about what they had to say.
Selfishly, I liked having interviewing Adam Riesberg, but that's a good experience for me. But no, he's a great kid, so I wanted to just that it was nice to have him on talking about the Rent Beetle, which if you missed the first part, if you're looking to rent the house right now, go through Rent Beetle. So that was my highlight.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting hearing about that, just because getting a house on campus or trying to get a house off campus is hell, and that's why I'm living in the Marriott. But I like talking to Jenn Rosa. I like hearing about stuff that Res likes doing, especially because housing was such a bunch of words I can't say on air. I can't think of any family friendly words I can call, but it was a mess. Well, not a mess. They did it very well. They to their credit, getting us all in the Marriott, that's hard. But the stress of all of it was a lot. It wasn't. Salve did a good job. The situation was bad.
Exactly. What else do you guys have here to maybe close out today's show?
I'll go first because I think Joey's story is a lot cooler. So we'll finish with the more interesting story. But this was just something I wanted to highlight because it was it was put in our school paper, Mosaic, if you guys don't know. And it's a really nice article just about community service on how it's thriving and how you can get involved. Because if you're a Salve student, you need 10 hours community service to graduate. So start looking into that, and this is a good place to get started with your research. So go ahead and check that out at mosaic.com.
Cool.
Do we want to go to my thing now?
Oh, yes, we do.
All right.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm looking. Yeah. So I was looking on Twitter, just looking at trending things, and there was something about baseball that it was kind of cool. But then I found this, which is a way cooler. It's called I don't know if it's Orionid or Orionid. It's a meteor shower coming from the Orion belt, more or less. It's, I guess, what I think is the coolest about it is it's not and maybe all meteor showers are like this. It's not like meteors coming at us. It's us going through the trail of Halley's Comet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's apparently it's a meteor shower that it's going on from the middle of October to the beginning of November, but tonight is the peak of it, where you're supposed to be getting 20 comets an hour, no matter where you are. So basically anyone listening, after they said right before dawn is the best time, but since most people aren't going to want to be up then, they said anywhere after midnight local time, the moon should be low enough, and the world should be in the right place where you can see a bunch of meteors. And they say look at, because it's where it's originating from, is look at the Orion belt. And if you can't find it, there are a couple apps I have an app called Star Walk. They recommend Skyview Light. It's literally you just point your camera at the sky and it'll show you what stars you're looking at. And the brightest star you're going to want to be looking for, which is I guess the brightest star besides the North Star generally that you can see, and I'm not making this up, it's called Betelgeuse.
Yep.
And that's where the name comes from apparently. And obviously it's I looked it up because I was why is it called Betelgeuse? How did we get Betelgeuse from that? And it's it's an Arabic word that is nowhere near similar in pronunciation, and then the English got it and they just butchered it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting. I forgot that was a thing. But I think that's really cool. I've never seen I think I saw a meteor shower once maybe. And they're saying it's supposed to be fairly easy to see it tonight.
The Orionids are usually one of the best ones you can get. Hopefully the clouds here by midnight dissipate if this is supposed to be the peak of it. It should be really cool.
It's really easy to see. It's not as active as the Perseids, whatever that one is that must have already happened this year. They kind of make it sound like. that one's the most active, but this one is the brightest
Yes.
ish. So that's cool.
Yeah, the Perseids, you got like, it was the most active. So you might get 60 an hour, meteors an hour at peak, but you might not even be able to see them, right? Or they might be really short, little wispy ones. The Leonids and the Orionids, you might get only 20 an hour at peak, but they're big, bright, long,
cool.
streaking meteors, which is really, really cool. I had brought this up. I teased it at the beginning. I wanted to bring up this article that I had read. Oh, scroll up to the top. Marcus Smart put this article out on the Players Tribune. This article is not about basketball, and it's a really, really, really great read. And it's not about basketball. But I wanted to read a section of it from the end that kind of spoke to. We talked about the 8th grader who has found a molecule that's going to help with the fight against COVID-19, and how the younger generation is doing amazing things. And Marcus Smart echoed these same sentiments, and I'm going to let his words do the speaking. So this is Marcus Smart on the Players Tribune. And more than anything else, the one thing that has really helped to lift me up and keep me hopeful is these kids. I've seen so many kids with their parents out at rallies, marching, chanting, holding up homemade signs. And I'm telling you, these young ones, they get it. They understand that love is better than hate, that innocent people should not be hurt or killed, that fairness and equality should be given within our society, and that we're all in this together. It's 12-year-olds and 5-year-olds and high school kids, and in some cases, toddlers. No joke, there are woke toddlers out there right now. It's awesome. It makes me smile just thinking about those kids and what they're bound to accomplish for our country in the coming years. I'm inspired by what they're doing, how they're not just out there, they're actually helping to lead, and where they're going to take this country down the line. We've put in some good work at this point and won some people over, and we've gotten some new regulations passed in some cases, but this is really only just the beginning. There is so much more to be done. This is like when you play a 7-game series. You know what I mean? You're not going to be clapping because you won the first game. You keep your eye on the prize. And when I think about who's going to be getting the ball in crunch time down the line in the future, it's going to be those kids. And in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that they got this. Because of them, I have hope. Signed, Marcus Smart. That says it all. Highly, highly, highly recommend this read. Players Tribune, awesome, awesome site. Players writing about themselves and situations, and it's raw. You're just getting their words instead of through the normal media. So this read is absolutely fantastic. It's a little long, but it's really, really good from Marcus Smart. This article is not about basketball and how he has hope because of the future, because of the kids. So I think that's just awesome. So I wanted to share that here today to close out today's show.
That's awesome. I'm a huge fan of Marcus Smart before this, but this, just makes me a bigger fan. He was always he's always been the scrappiest player on the floor, and I think that's just the kind of guy he is. He's very down to earth, and he'll do anything for the benefit of the team.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, fellas, great show today. We hit the midweek point tomorrow, so I'm going to let you guys go get back to work. Awesome show today. We had a loaded show, so plenty to pick through. Thank you so much for what you did today. Mike, thank you for hosting at the beginning. You did a great job with that interview, and look forward to any more guests that you can procure for the show.
Yeah, I'll look into it. We'll see if we'll go to the bullpen soon. We'll get Mr. Andrew LeClaire in at some point.
All right. That is Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. Once again, we are live every day, 3 to 4 p.m. here on the Salve Athletics Network. You can watch us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. You can go back and rewatch every single episode of the show on those platforms. And if you like, you can subscribe to Seahawk Talk on the go by following and liking the Seahawk Talk podcast through your favorite podcasting platform. Just search for Seahawk Talk and subscribe. You'll get the audio version of the show, and you can take that wherever you want to go. So thank you for joining and listening with us here today. Once again, special thanks to our guests, Laura Krick, Adam Riesberg, Jenn Rosa, Katie Doherty, Bria Healy, Megan Jenkins, and Devin Smith. Special thanks once again to Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, our producers. I am Andrew Pizzelli. Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a good night.